Good afternoon and welcome to RMU Live. I'm Megan Chandel.
And I'm Michael Shuley. Today is November 5th, 2018. Thank you for joining us on the first full day after we turned back the clocks from daylight savings time.
Just a week after the deadly shooting that killed 11 people worshiping in a synagogue, Pittsburgh came together as a community once again. Streets in downtown Pittsburgh were closed Saturday night and pop star Kesha took the stage. Gage Golding reports from downtown.
Thousands of Pittsburghers packed downtown Pittsburgh to see pop star Kesha live, all for a good cause.
And love does trump hate. So no matter where you came from, what color your skin is, what God you believe in or you don't believe in, what your sexual preference is, what your gender identity is, whatever it is, you are welcome here tonight.
Kesha headlined a concert that kicked off at 9 p.m. in downtown Pittsburgh that benefited the Jewish Federation's Victims of Terror Fund. The event that was originally dubbed Countdown to Vote was renamed after 11 people were killed at the Tree of Life Synagogue on October 27th, just a week before the concert. The Delta Foundation, an LGBT nonprofit advocacy group, began planning the event in September, but after the attacks at the synagogue, reached out to Kesha, who immediately agreed to change the angle on the event. Two students from the Marjorie Stoneman Douglas High School in Parkland, Florida also spoke out at the event. Last year, 17 students were killed when a man opened fire inside the school.
Every time a tragedy like this happens, it really rocks us, but it just makes us want to keep going more because every day people are dying and we need to do something about it.
We know their pain and we know what they're going through, and we just want to be here and support them and give them everything we can because so many communities supported us after what happened, and we want to be one of those communities that supports them. Everything in your life ever, whether it be the environment, water, anything, your housing, it's all affected by politicians, and you pick your politicians by voting. So go out and vote because it really does affect you.
Although chilly temperatures and light wind did come through the region, one thing was evident Saturday night. Pittsburgh was stronger than hate. Reporting in downtown Pittsburgh, Gage Golding, RMU Century Media.
Thank you, Gage. Ari Mahler works as a trauma nurse and was at Allegheny General Hospital last Saturday when synagogue shooting suspect Robert Bowers was wheeled into the emergency room, yelling, quote, "Death to all Jews," end quote. The interesting thing about Mahler is that he himself is Jewish and still gave care to Bowers. Mahler even wrote, quote, "I didn't see evil when I looked into Robert Bowers' eyes," end quote.
Taylor Alderdice High School students created a t-shirt to honor the 11 victims of the shooting at the Tree of Life Synagogue in Squirrel Hill. Not only does the phrase Pittsburgh Strong appear on the design, so does the Hebrew phrase for community and will overcome this. The proceeds will go to the Jewish Federation of Pittsburgh.
The social media site Gab, which is popular among far-right extremists, is back online with a new domain host. Robert Bowers, the man who killed 11 people at the Tree of Life Synagogue shooting in Squirrel Hill, was an active member on the site. GoDaddy dropped the domain after the shooting, but the website is now hosted by Epic.
A vigil was held at Florida State University on Sunday for the victims of a yoga studio shooting in Tallahassee. 61-year-old FSU faculty member Nancy Von Bessem and 21-year-old FSU student Mara Binkley were killed in the attack. Several others were injured and the shooter died from a self-inflicted gunshot wound. FSU President John Thrasher said the shooting was, quote, "senseless and violent," end quote.
4 people, including 3 children, are dead after a hit-and-run accident in Wisconsin. The incident happened Saturday in Chippewa County. At least one other person was injured. Lake Haley police say the 3 children were members of the Girl Scouts.
We had a group of Girl Scouts were alongside the highway picking up trash. An 04 to 06 black F-150 was traveling northbound on County Highway P right before the Highway 29 overpass. Crossed over a lane of traffic and into the ditch, striking the Girl Scout troop.
Authorities say the driver of the truck fled the scene but eventually turned himself in. It is unclear what charges, if any, the driver is facing. Police say the investigation into what happened is ongoing.
In a final push for votes before Election Day tomorrow, President Trump will hold 3 rallies today, following several other over the weekend. Many politicians and celebrities are campaigning hard across the country in an election some call the most important of our time. Natasha Chen explains what's at stake tomorrow.
Almost never been a more important time to vote in our lifetimes.
Midterm elections don't usually capture voters' attention the way a presidential election does, but voters tell us this one feels different.
The left is battering our president, and that can't be.
Different because certain issues are at a tipping point, like immigration.
Yes, sir, we have barbed wire going up because you know what? We're not letting these people invade our country.
And healthcare.
The healthcare of millions of people are on the ballot. Making sure working families get a fair shake is on the ballot.
By Halloween, the number of early and absentee votes had already surpassed the number of total early and absentees in any previous midterm election. Celebrities like Oprah Winfrey have gotten on the campaign trail.
We have this incredible opportunity to make history. We have our inalienable right to vote because the one place where we're all equal, where is it? It's at the polls.
Election Day could produce a record number of women, African Americans, Latinos, LGBTQ, and veteran elected officials in 2019. It's not just a fight for offices in Washington. Governorships are also on the line.
We're doing very well in Miami-Dade, turning out a lot of voters. We have a lot of enthusiasm here.
On Tuesday, y'all, we're bringing it home.
At approximately 3 p.m. yesterday afternoon, a fatal crash took place on Route 51 in Duquesne Heights. According to the Pittsburgh Department of Public Safety, 2 vehicles and a motorcycle were involved in the car crash. The motorcyclist, 57-year-old William Andrews of Pittsburgh, was pronounced dead at the scene.
A car exploded in Washington County Saturday afternoon after the driver crashed into a tree on Route 18 in Morris Township. After a closer look at the teenager's vehicle, Morris Fire Chief David Dietrich said the car, quote, exploded into pieces with the motor and transmission tearing out of the car, end quote. The boy was taken to a hospital for treatment, and it is believed that speed was a factor in the teenager's accident. A woman that was hit by a car in Washington County Saturday morning has died. 57-year-old Juanetta Scaglione of Charleroi was struck by a vehicle on Twilight Hollow Road. The Washington County Coroner's Office is unsure what time the accident occurred, but the woman was pronounced dead at 3:30 a.m.
Sydney Bates was sworn in as a Pittsburgh police officer last spring following a verbal altercation over parking with a Swissvale officer in October of this year, has been fired. According to Bates' brother, he parked his car on October 18th on Milligan Avenue to help his girlfriend unload groceries when the Swissvale officer asked to see his ID. Bates allegedly declined. Bates received a letter of termination yesterday.
2 people are dead after the partial collapse of an Amazon warehouse in southeast Baltimore. Emergency responders were called Friday evening and told a 50 by 50 foot wall had collapsed. They found one victim trapped under debris just after they arrived and used thermal imaging to determine whether anyone else was trapped. Officials say severe storms with strong winds moved through the area Friday night, but they are still investigating what caused the partial collapse. Amazon is closer to finding a final location for its second headquarters. It is rumored that it may not be Pittsburgh. According to a report by the Washington Post, Amazon held a meeting discussing the new headquarters in the Crystal City area of Arlington, Virginia. Amazon founder Jeff Bezos said, quote, ultimately the decision will be made with intuition after gathering and studying a lot of data, end quote.
Amazon is looking to boost holiday sales and add new Prime members, so it's offering free shipping on all holiday orders arriving in time for Christmas. The online retailer is waiving the minimum purchase requirement for free shipping starting Monday. The move makes hundreds of millions of items eligible for free shipping. Prime members already get free shipping, but they'll get a holiday perk too. More than 3 million items will be eligible for the same-day delivery during the holiday season. If you're a Prime member, Amazon needs to pump up sales after the company's revenue projection for the rest of the year fell below some Wall Street analyst estimates. The Pittsburgh Steelers and the Baltimore Ravens are known to be rivals, but on the field on Sunday, the Ravens took to social media to express their support of the Steel City. The team tweeted before Sunday's matchup that, quote, Baltimore stands with Pittsburgh, end quote. They said in the tweet, quote, some things are bigger than football. Our thoughts and prayers are with the city of Pittsburgh, end quote. Quarterback Ben Roethlisberger wore special cleats on Sunday. They feature a Star of David atop the Steelers' traditional logo, as well as the words "Stronger Than Hate" written on the side. The Steelers posted a picture of the cleats on their Instagram account. Michael Shuley's in the Sports Center with their full recap of the Steelers-Ravens game. Mike, good news out of Baltimore, right?
Yes, Megan, there is good news out of Baltimore, but before we get to that Steelers-Ravens game, we're going to talk about the Pittsburgh Penguins. The Penguins lost the only contest that they played in this weekend on Saturday night. The Penguins fell to the Maple Leafs by a score of 5-0. However, the Penguins will have a chance to get back in the win column tonight when they host the New Jersey Devils at 7 p.m. As for that Steelers-Ravens game, the Steelers won their 4th consecutive game yesterday when they beat the Ravens by a score of 23-16. Ben Roethlisberger threw for 270 yards and 2 touchdowns on the afternoon, and the Steelers will hope to continue their hot streak this Thursday night when they host the Carolina Panthers. Now we're going to send it over to Jordan Gaso. Jordan, Steelers are playing, of course, on Thursday night, but what's the weather looking like for the rest of the week, including that Thursday night showdown?
Well, Mike, as we look at today's weather, we're actually looking at pretty warm temperatures today with a high of 61 and a low of 50. Chance of precipitation only at 20% and humidity at 77, so we're looking at a pretty warm day today. Now, as we dive into the hourly forecast for today, it's pretty cloudy, getting a little bit cooler once we get towards later tonight into tomorrow, but other than that, we're looking at a pretty nice day. Later on, we'll have my 5-day forecast, but for now, we'll send it back to Mike and Megan.
For all you need to know about news, sports, and arts and entertainment at RMU and around the Pittsburgh region, visit rmucentralmedia.com. When we come back from the break, Natasha Chen looks at how early voting has nearly doubled in some states. We'll be right back.
Hey, Dad. I need your help asking Jessica to prom.
Of course. Love is like the ocean. You have to tread the
Oh,
waters.
Dad. That's not the kind of help I needed. Hey, Jessica. Will you go to prom with me?
Yes.
You don't have to be perfect to be a perfect parent. Thousands of teens in foster care can't wait to share their first with you.
Let me tell you about the toughest guy on earth. He has the crazy strength to lift the man that raised him up without even flinching. This guy, no, this warrior, will always be by his father's side, even if his dad will hardly remember. If this guy isn't the toughest guy on the planet, then I don't know who is. Caregiving is tougher than tough. Find the care guides you need at aarp.org/caregiving.
What do you think you're doing, Kevin?
Was just gonna drive home.
There are several warning signs present that you shouldn't be driving.
Like hearing voices?
Like your text-to-emoji ratio?
Oh man, the selfies.
Selfie, nailed it.
We all have warning signs that let us know that we're probably not okay to drive. Mine is pretending to be your subconscious.
Craig, come on man, let's split a ride home.
Hey, Bobo, do trees tell each other stories?
I'm sorry. I'm afraid I don't know that.
Hey, why don't we go find out? Listen.
Can birds draw pictures?
I don't have an answer for that.
Dad, do stars visit their friends?
Look!
2, 1. Early voters have been out in full force across the nation ahead of the midterm elections. The numbers surpassing those last seen in the 2014 elections in several states.
One likely reason for the climbing numbers, first-time voters. Melissa Rainey has details.
Long lines stretching down city blocks. People around the country waiting hours to cast their ballot in the 2018 midterm election.
Every vote counts. If I didn't vote, it would be on my conscience.
Based on information provided by data company Catalyst, at least 12 states have already surpassed early voting numbers seen in 2014. In Kansas and West Virginia, early voting has outpaced the 2016 presidential election.
Georgia, Georgia, Georgia!
In Georgia, the race for governor has brought major star power to the Peach State and a record number of voters to the polls, more than double the amount at the same point in the last midterm election. One possible reason for the boost, first-time voters.
I think it's a time for us to kind of get our voice out there, something that I don't think we did very effective in 2016.
Catalyst found that of the states it analyzed, first-time voters have cast 5% or more of the early vote in 10 states. I'm Melissa Rainey, reporting.
The push for midterm elections is being felt in Pittsburgh as well. Republican gubernatorial, Candidate Scott Wagner and Republican candidate for U.S. Senate Congressman Lou Barletta will both be in the Steel City today. Events for the two started this morning at 8:30 a.m. Also, a recent Franklin and Marshall College poll shows that incumbent governor and Tom Wolf has a lead of 26 points over Wagner.
And with the midterm elections tomorrow, voters are encouraged to check where their polling place is. 37 polling locations in Allegheny County have changed since the May primaries. Some places have been moved due to mold or heating. To find out where you can vote or where your polling place is, visit pavoterservices.pa.gov. And of course, RMU-TV will have live coverage of tomorrow's midterm elections right here on Facebook, Twitter, and our YouTube channel, and Channel 16 on Moon Township Television. The Society for Collegiate Journalists as well as RMU Century Media are teaming up to bring you that nonstop coverage starting at 8 p.m. tomorrow. Join myself, Logan Carney, Samuel Anthony, and Gage Golding as they look at the elections and bring you the latest results. For more information, visit rmucenturymedia.com.
RMU Century Media was recently recognized at an awards ceremony in Louisville, Kentucky. Editors Samuel Anthony and Michael Schulle presented at the College Media Association Fall Convention. 4 students received awards at the event. RMU Century Media brought home a 3rd place Pinnacle Award for the Best Online Sports section. Gage Golding also brought home 2nd place and an honorable mention for the Wendy's drive-through horse at the film festival. RMU Century Media's PA 18 special election coverage earlier this year was awarded 3rd place at the film festival as well.
And also be sure to check in on the rest of the RMU-TV shows. RMU-Live Mondays at 1 and Fridays at noon. Sports Talk in the Berg and RMU Tonight Wednesdays at 5 p.m. And Colonial Sports Center Thursday nights at 9:30 right here on RMU-TV.
And when we come back, if you live stressed life, there might be a connection to memory loss and brain shrinkage. Andy Rose will have the full story.
And Uber is applying to start testing their driverless cars again in Pittsburgh. Stay tuned.
Hey, Dad. I need your help asking Jessica to prom.
Of course. Love is like the ocean. You have to tread the
Oh,
waters.
Dad. That's not the kind of help I needed. Hey, Jessica. Will you go to prom with me?
Yes.
You don't have to be perfect to be a perfect parent. Thousands of teens in foster care can't wait to share their first with you.
Let me tell you about the toughest guy on earth. He has the crazy strength to lift the man that raised him up without even flinching. This guy, this warrior, will always be by his father's side, even if his dad will hardly remember. If this guy isn't the toughest guy on the planet, then I don't know who is. Caregiving is tougher than tough. Find the care guides you need at aarp.org/caregiving.
What do you think you're doing, Kevin? Was just gonna drive home.
There are several warning signs present that you shouldn't be driving.
Like hearing voices?
Like your text-to-emoji ratio?
Oh man, the selfies. Selfies. Nailed it.
We all have warning signs that let us know that we're probably not okay to drive. Mine is pretending to be your subconscious.
Craig, come on, man, let's split a ride home.
Hey, Bobo, do trees tell each other stories?
I'm sorry. I'm afraid I don't know that.
Hey, why don't we go find out? Listen.
Can birds draw pictures?
I don't have an answer for that.
Dad, do stars visit their friends?
Look!
Welcome back to RMU Live. How stressed are you? If you are living a high-stress life, you could have memory loss and brain shrinkage before you turn 50.
In today's Health Minute, Andy Rose has a closer look at the report shining new light into impact stress on your brain.
We all know stress can drain your body. Now a new study shows it may also shrink your brain. It's published in the journal Neurology. Researchers found a link between high levels of the stress hormone cortisol and brain size and function. Cortisol is a hormone released when we are stressed and on high alert. Researchers say that if you're constantly stressed, your body may malfunction, leading to heart disease, headaches, weight gain, and trouble sleeping. But this latest research found high cortisol levels also take a toll on your brain. Researchers say stress can also lead to memory loss and concentration issues. The study looked at more than 2,000 people who took tests to measure their thinking skills. About 8 years after the first test, researchers found people with the highest levels of cortisol had the most memory loss. Researchers also discovered cortisol affects a brain's structure and size, saying high levels of the hormone were linked with damage to some parts of the brain. The study also suggests people with higher cortisol levels had smaller brains. For today's Health Minute, I'm Andy Rose.
Elementary school in Virginia is going bananas for bananas, and it's all thanks to the inspiring words of a cafeteria manager. Aaliyah Hodges reports.
The entire cafeteria went bananas. After a cafeteria manager's act of kindness has gotten national attention. Stacy Truman decided to write motivational messages on at least 50 bananas last week. Dole Food Company got word of the idea and partnered with Kingston Elementary. Today, they donated 550 of them for every student to have.
I like how they have the writing on them. I think it's really cool.
The school principal says 10 parent volunteers, along with Ms. Truman, wrote a message on every single banana. We asked some of the second graders why their mom or dad helped out.
I think she thinks they're also really cute, and I think that she really just likes them.
Some familiar and some new motivational messages are on each banana. I believe in you, don't give up, and your future is bright, to name a few. Many students excited to have one of their own.
Because that makes me think that in my future I'm going to have a happier life.
These motivational bananas aren't just getting students to think highly of themselves, but it's also getting them to eat more of this nutritional snack.
I love the writing on them, and I love to eat bananas.
After today's banana craze, it's safe to say these talking bananas will be the talk for the rest of the day.
In Lansdale, PA, an Uber driver has been charged with raping a passenger that became unconscious in his car. It is alleged that Ahmed El Gharfi picked up a woman from the Valley Forge Casino in King of Prussia, but instead of taking her home, it is alleged that he took her to a residence and raped her. El Gharfi was charged on Wednesday with multiple offenses, and he is currently in Chester County Prison. Nearly 8 months after a fatal accident in Arizona, Uber wants to restart testing of self-driving cars on Pittsburgh's public roads. Uber applied with the Pennsylvania Department of Transportation to resume tests.
Although there are still 2 months left in 2018, Pittsburgh has already seen its fourth wettest year. The National Weather Service in Pittsburgh says the area has seen nearly 50 inches of rain this year. The wettest year on record is 2004, when the city received 57.41 inches of rain after Hurricane Ivan and Francis brought downpours to the area. And when we come back, Jordan Gaso has a look at the full 5-day forecast.
And I'll break down this weekend in RMU sports. Please stay tuned.
I was physically at school, but my mind wasn't at school. I had problems at home. That's when I met Narnese. She started helping me a little bit, like, Nia, I don't know what you're doing, but your future is more important. She's my strength. It takes a village to help somebody get their diploma. It changes your whole life.
Find free adult education classes near you at finishyourdiploma.org.
See on page 4 that the projections need to be blood. Next Thursday?
Seriously? Thursday? Can't do that.
This is really inconvenient.
I have yoga that day.
I have no time for this.
So.
I can't do Thursday, but I can do Friday.
Disasters don't plan ahead. You can. Talk to your loved ones about how you're going to be ready in an emergency. Don't wait. Communicate.
What to expect when you're expecting.
Like here.
A teenager.
Today, I'm going to show you how to teen-proof your home. First step, hide the car keys. Preferably somewhere they would never look. Challenges will come up. Be ready for them. Hi, honey.
I'm ready for the... Mom, You don't use mannequins in the mannequin challenge.
You don't have to know it all to be a perfect parent. Thousands of teens in foster care will love you just the same.
Home fire drills give your family a plan of action. In a home fire, you may have less than 2 minutes to get out. So when you drill, show everyone 2 ways out of the house, pick a safe meeting spot, and get there in under 2 minutes. Then practice home fire drills at least twice a year. You can even make them fun. So everyone knows the sound and exactly what to do when they hear a smoke alarm. Go to ready.gov/fire drill and learn how to prepare your family for home fires.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, and let's just dive into RMU sports. The football team dropped another game this weekend when they fell to the Sacred Heart Pioneers by a score of 38-7. Jordan Johnson led the offensive charge for the Colonials with 71 yards on the ground and a touchdown. The Colonials will be back in action this Saturday when they travel to Eastern Kentucky University to take on the Colonels. The RMU volleyball team also picked up another win this weekend as they were able to sweep the St. Francis Red Flash in 3 sets. Emma Granger led the way for the Colonials with 12 kills, 6 aces, and 6 blocks. The Colonials will be back in action on Saturday when they take on Sacred Heart. The men's soccer team also won their final game of the year on Friday when they defeated the same St. Francis Red Flash by a score of 1-0. Owen Pierce scored the lone goal for RMU. And the men's hockey team split their weekend series with the Niagara Purple Eagles. This weekend, RMU won the first contest on Friday by a score of 3-1. Daniel Mantenuto contributed 2 of those points on the night, but unfortunately the Colonials would fall on Saturday night as they fell to Niagara by a score of 4-2. This upcoming weekend, the Colonials will play a home-and-home series with the Penn State Nittany Lions starting in Penn State on Friday. The women's hockey team traveled to Rochester this weekend to take on the RIT Tigers, and they would go on to win both of the contests, the first of which by a score of 3-1 and the second by a score of 3-0. JC Gebhardt scored a goal in both games. And now we're going to kick it over to Jordan Gaso to get a look at the weather. Jordan?
Thanks, Mike. Once again, as we look at today's weather, we're looking at pretty warm temperatures until later tonight with a high of 61 and a low of 50. Chance precipitation only at 20%. Now, as we look at tomorrow's weather, we're looking about the same with a high of 61 and a low of 41. A lot more rain tomorrow, though, with a chance of precipitation at 90% and humidity at 77. Now, as we take a dive into the 5-day forecast for this week, we're looking at it's getting colder towards the end of the week with a lot more rain, especially once we get into Friday and Saturday. Looking a lot gloomier than it was the past week we had here. That's it for my 5-day forecast. Now, send it back to Mike and Megan.
Thank you, Jordan. That's all we have time for RMU Live today. Thank you for joining us.
For the latest on news throughout the week, follow us on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and visit rmucenturymedia.com. Have a great week.
I had problems at home. That's when I met Narnese. She started helping me a little bit, like, Nia, I don't know what you're doing, but your future is more important. She's my strength. It takes a village to help somebody get their diploma. It changes your whole life.
Find free adult education classes near you at finishyourdiploma.org.
See on page 4 that the projections need to be blood. Next Thursday?
Seriously? Thursday? Can't do that.
This is really inconvenient.
I have yoga that day.
I have no time for this.
So.
I can't do Thursday, but I can do Friday.
Disasters don't plan ahead. You can. Talk to your loved ones about how you're going to be ready in an emergency. Don't wait. Communicate.
What to expect when you're expecting.
Like here.
A teenager.
Today, I'm going to show you how to team-proof your home. First step, hide the car keys. Preferably somewhere they would never look. Challenges will come up. Be ready for them. Hi, honey.
Ready for the... Mom, you don't use mannequins in the mannequin challenge.
You don't have to know it all to be a perfect parent. Thousands of teens in foster care will love you just the same.
Home fire drills give your family a plan of action. In a home fire, you may have less than 2 minutes to get out. So when you drill, show everyone 2 ways out of the house, pick a safe meeting spot, and get there in under 2 minutes. Then practice home fire drills at least twice a year. You can even make them fun. So everyone knows the sound and exactly what to do when they hear a smoke alarm. Go to ready.gov/fire drill and learn how to prepare your family for home fires.